Welcome to a journey back in time to one of the most fascinating civilizations in human history, ancient Egypt. Spanning over 3,000 years, the story of ancient Egypt is one of innovation, power, culture, and mystery. From the towering pyramids of Giza to the enigmatic hieroglyphs and the reigns of powerful pharaohs, ancient Egypt offers an incredible glimpse into a society that shaped the world in profound ways. In today's video, we'll explore the origins, daily life, monumental achievements, and enduring legacy of this great civilization. So sit back and join me as we unlock the secrets of ancient Egypt. Our story begins along the Nile River, the lifeblood of ancient Egypt. Around 3100 BCE, Egypt was unified under the rule of the first pharaoh, Narmer, sometimes known as Menes. This marked the beginning of the early dynastic period. Before ancient Egypt rose as a unified empire under the rule of powerful pharaohs, the region was divided into smaller political entities known as nomes. These nomes were essentially city-states or districts, each governed by a local leader, called a nomarch, who managed resources, agriculture, and administration. Ancient Egypt was split into two major regions, named according to the flow of the Nile River: Upper Egypt, which was upstream, located in the south along the narrow Nile Valley, and Lower Egypt, which was downstream, encompassing the expansive and fertile Nile Delta to the north. Together, these regions comprised a total of 42 nomes, 22 in Upper Egypt and 20 in Lower Egypt. Some nomes were particularly significant. In Upper Egypt, the nome of Waset, modern-day Thebes, became a religious and cultural hub, home to the famous temples of Karnak and Luxor. Another key nome was Ta Seti, land of the bow, located near modern-day Aswan, which served as a gateway to Nubia and a source of skilled archers. In Lower Egypt, the nome of Ineb Hedj, White Walls, was centered around Memphis, the first capital of unified Egypt. The nome of Per Wadjet, with its capital at Buto, was a prominent religious site dedicated to the cobra goddess Wadjet, the protector of Lower Egypt. These nomes operated independently, often competing for resources and influence. However, this rivalry ultimately set the stage for the unification of Egypt. Around 3100 BCE, Upper and Lower Egypt were united under a single ruler, traditionally identified as Narmer or Menes. This monumental event marked the beginning of the early dynastic period and laid the foundation for the Egyptian Empire. The boundaries of ancient Egypt were shaped largely by the natural features of the region, creating a civilization that thrived along the fertile banks of the Nile River. To the north, Egypt's territory extended to the Mediterranean Sea, where the Nile Delta formed a rich, fan-shaped area of agricultural abundance. The western boundary was defined by the vast and arid Sahara Desert, which acted as a natural barrier, protecting Egypt from invasions and fostering a degree of isolation that allowed its culture to flourish independently. To the east, the Red Sea and the rugged eastern desert served as both a boundary and a gateway for trade with the Arabian Peninsula and beyond. Southward, ancient Egypt's reach stretched deep into Nubia, modern-day Sudan, particularly during periods of expansion, such as under the Middle and New Kingdoms, when Egypt controlled territories as far as the Fourth Cataract of the Nile. These southern regions were rich in resources like gold and served as vital trade routes for goods such as ebony, ivory, and incense. While these boundaries fluctuated over time due to conquests, political alliances, and the rise and fall of dynasties, the Nile River remained the lifeline of Egyptian civilization. It provided not only water and fertile soil, but also a means of transportation and communication that united the country from the first cataract in the south to the Mediterranean in the north. These natural frontiers and the Nile's central role defined Egypt's territorial limits, fostering a cohesive identity and enabling the development of one of the world's most enduring civilizations. Ancient Egypt's civilization was one of the longest lasting in human history, thriving for over 3 millennia. Historians often divide its reign into 3 major periods of prosperity and stability: the Old Kingdom, the Middle Kingdom, and the New Kingdom. Each of these eras had its own unique achievements and challenges, contributing to the legacy of this incredible civilization. The Old Kingdom, 2686 to 2181 BCE, is often celebrated as the Age of the Pyramids, a period when ancient Egypt's most iconic monuments were built. Among these architectural marvels is the Great Pyramid of Giza, constructed for Pharaoh Khufu. Standing over 480 feet tall, this awe-inspiring structure remained the tallest man-made building in the world for over 3,800 years. Its precision and scale continue to baffle modern engineers and historians, showcasing the ingenuity and organizational skills of the ancient Egyptians. But the pyramids were far more than grand structures. They were deeply symbolic. These monumental tombs reflected the pharaoh's divine authority, as they were considered living gods on earth, and embodied the ancient Egyptians' profound belief in the afterlife. The pyramids served as eternal homes for the deceased, ensuring their safe journey to the afterlife and reinforcing the idea of ma'at, order and harmony, in both life and death. Contrary to popular belief, the pyramids were not built by slaves but by skilled laborers and farmers. During the Nile's flood season, when farming was impossible, these workers contributed their efforts to these colossal projects, earning food, shelter, and a sense of pride in their work. Hieroglyphic inscriptions and artifacts from worker villages reveal that they were well organized and cared for, challenging long-held misconceptions about their treatment. Beyond the pyramids, the Old Kingdom was also a golden age for art and culture. Elaborate tomb paintings, sculptures, and hieroglyphic inscriptions from this period offer invaluable insights into daily life, religious practices, and the worldview of ancient Egyptians. These works of art, designed to endure eternity, help us connect with a civilization that continues to inspire awe thousands of years later. This era wasn't just the foundation of Egypt's grandeur. It was a monumental testament to human ingenuity, spirituality, and ambition. After a period of instability and fragmentation, Egypt entered an era of rebirth known as the Middle Kingdom, circa 2040 to 1782 BCE. This period was marked by political reunification, cultural revival, and remarkable achievements in governance, art, and engineering. It all began with Pharaoh Mentuhotep II, who reunified the land after the chaos of the first intermediate period. His efforts consolidated power, restoring stability and harmony across the kingdom. The Middle Kingdom became a time of great cultural and intellectual flourishing. Literature from this period, such as The Tale of Sinue and the Instructions of Amenemhat, reveals a society deeply introspective, grappling with themes of morality, loyalty, and divine justice. In art and architecture, the Middle Kingdom saw advancements in realism, with sculptures and reliefs often depicting rulers and everyday individuals with greater humanity and detail than before. This period also marked a turning point in Egypt's territorial ambitions. The pharaohs expanded Egypt's borders southward into Nubia, a region rich in gold, ivory, and precious resources. These conquests not only boosted Egypt's wealth, but also strengthened its influence in trade networks connecting Africa, the Levant, and the Mediterranean. In addition to military expansion, the Middle Kingdom was a time of remarkable innovation in managing the Nile River. Sophisticated irrigation systems were developed to control the river's flooding, ensuring more reliable agricultural yields and a steady food supply. This ability to harness the Nile's power contributed to a period of prosperity that lasted for centuries. However, the Middle Kingdom eventually declined as Egypt faced invasions from foreign powers, including the Hyksos, who introduced new technologies like horse-drawn chariots. This fragmentation led to the Second Intermediate Period, a time of political upheaval that set the stage for Egypt's eventual resurgence during the New Kingdom. The Middle Kingdom remains a testament to Egypt's resilience and its ability to transform adversity into an era of cultural and political greatness. The New Kingdom, circa 1550 to 1070 BCE, is often celebrated as Egypt's Golden Age, a time when the civilization reached the height of its power, influence, and cultural achievements. This era was defined by military conquests, monumental architecture, and the reigns of some of Egypt's most legendary pharaohs. During this period, Egypt's borders expanded far into Nubia to the south and the Near East, establishing Egypt as a dominant force in the ancient world. This newfound wealth and power fueled an era of artistic and architectural grandeur, with rulers commissioning temples, statues, and tombs that have stood the test of time. Among the notable figures of the New Kingdom was Hatshepsut, one of Egypt's most remarkable pharaohs and a trailblazing female ruler. She expanded Egypt's trade networks, forging connections with distant lands like Punt, and left behind architectural masterpieces such as her mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahri, which still amazes visitors today. Another pivotal ruler was Akhenaten, who introduced a brief but profound religious revolution. He declared Aten, the sun disk, as the sole god and moved the capital to a new city, Akhetaten, modern-day Amarna. His wife, Nefertiti, became a symbol of elegance and power, her iconic bust embodying the artistry of the time. Though his reign was short, Tutankhamun remains one of the most famous pharaohs due to the discovery of his virtually intact tomb, filled with treasures that provide unparalleled insight into ancient Egyptian life. Lastly, there was Ramses II, also known as Ramses the Great, who ruled for over 60 years. He led military campaigns, signed one of the first recorded peace treaties, and constructed monumental structures like the temples of Abu Simbel, which stand as a testament to his enduring legacy. Despite its grandeur, the New Kingdom eventually declined due to internal conflicts and foreign invasions. This ushered in the Third Intermediate Period, marking the end of Egypt's Golden Age and the beginning of a more fragmented era. The New Kingdom remains a defining chapter in ancient Egyptian history, showcasing the peak of its cultural, political, and military achievements. When we think of ancient Egypt, the grandeur of pharaohs, pyramids, and temples often takes center stage. But behind the scenes, the daily lives of ordinary Egyptians were just as fascinating and vital to the functioning of this extraordinary civilization. Ancient Egyptian society was organized into a strict hierarchy, with the pharaoh at the top as a divine ruler, followed by priests who maintained religious rituals, scribes who managed the kingdom's records and communication, artisans who created the beautiful art and architecture we admire today, and finally, farmers and laborers who formed the backbone of the economy. Despite the rigid social structure, social mobility was possible, especially for those who pursued education or showed exceptional skills in their trade. Religion was at the heart of daily life. The Egyptians worshipped a pantheon of gods, each tied to natural elements and human activities. For example, Ra, the sun god, symbolized life and order, while Osiris was associated with the afterlife. Temples were more than places of worship. They were hubs of economic activity, education, and administration, underscoring the central role of religion in Egyptian society. Family was a cornerstone of Egyptian life. Most Egyptians worked as farmers, craftsmen, or traders, with the rhythm of their work often tied to the Nile's flood cycle. Remarkably, women in ancient Egypt enjoyed significant rights compared to other ancient societies. They could own property, initiate divorce, and even hold high positions like priestesses or scribes. The diet of the average Egyptian included bread, beer, vegetables, and occasionally meat or fish. Clothing was typically simple, made from linen, with styles varying by class. Entertainment ranged from music and dancing to board games and festivals, which were opportunities for community celebrations and religious ceremonies. The daily lives of ordinary Egyptians reveal a civilization deeply rooted in tradition, innovation, and community. While the grandeur of the pharaohs is undeniable, it was the everyday people who sustained ancient Egypt and contributed to its incredible legacy. Ancient Egypt is often celebrated for its monumental architecture, but its contributions to science, medicine, writing, and mathematics were equally groundbreaking. These advancements laid the foundation for many practices still relevant today, showcasing the ingenuity of this ancient civilization. The Egyptian writing system, hieroglyphics, was one of their most remarkable achievements. Combining pictorial symbols and phonetic sounds, hieroglyphics were used for religious texts, royal decrees, and historical records. They adorned tombs, temples, and monuments, ensuring Egypt's culture and beliefs were preserved for eternity. For centuries, this script remained undeciphered until the discovery of the Rosetta Stone in 1799. Inscribed in 3 scripts, hieroglyphic, demotic, and Greek, it enabled scholars like Jean-François Champollion to unlock the secrets of ancient Egyptian writing, providing invaluable insights into their civilization. Egyptian priests were skilled astronomers who developed a calendar based on the annual rise of the star Sirius, coinciding with the Nile's flood. This calendar divided the year into 12 months of 30 days, with an additional 5 days to align with the solar year. Their astronomical knowledge was so precise that temples like Abu Simbel were aligned with celestial events, such as the rising sun illuminating the temple's inner sanctum twice a year. Egyptian medicine combined practical techniques with spiritual beliefs. The Ebers Papyrus, dating back to 1550 BCE, is one of the oldest medical texts, detailing treatments for ailments like infections and digestive disorders. Egyptian doctors practiced surgery, bone setting, and used herbal remedies like honey and garlic. Mummification also revealed their advanced understanding of anatomy and preservation techniques. In mathematics, Egyptians developed systems that were critical for trade, construction, and administration. They created a weighing system using balances and standardized weights, ensuring fair trade practices. Their use of geometry was evident in the precise construction of pyramids, and they devised a decimal system for calculations. Their knowledge of fractions and basic algebra facilitated efficient resource management, including dividing land and calculating taxes. The achievements of ancient Egypt in writing, astronomy, medicine, and mathematics highlight their profound intellectual and practical contributions. These innovations not only enriched their civilization, but also influenced future societies, leaving a legacy that continues to shape our understanding of science and culture. Despite its remarkable longevity, ancient Egypt experienced several periods of decline as internal strife and foreign invasions eroded its stability. The first major blow came during the Second Intermediate Period, circa 1650 to 1550 BCE, when the Hyksos, a Semitic people from the Levant, invaded and established control over Lower Egypt. They introduced new technologies like horse-drawn chariots, which would later be adopted by the Egyptians. Egypt regained its independence during the New Kingdom, but this was only a temporary reprieve. Over time, internal divisions and weak leadership left Egypt vulnerable to foreign powers. The Assyrians, known for their military prowess, invaded in the 7th century BCE, followed by the Persians, who incorporated Egypt into the Achaemenid Empire in 525 BCE. These invasions diminished Egypt's autonomy and weakened its ability to recover its former glory. In 332 BCE, Egypt faced a new conqueror, Alexander the Great of Macedon. His arrival marked the end of native Egyptian rule and the beginning of the Hellenistic period. After Alexander's death, his general Ptolemy I established the Ptolemaic dynasty, blending Greek and Egyptian cultures. This era saw a flourishing of art, science, and architecture, epitomized by the famed Library of Alexandria. The last ruler of this dynasty, Cleopatra VII, is perhaps the most iconic figure from this period. Cleopatra aligned herself with Julius Caesar and later Mark Antony in an effort to preserve Egypt's independence. However, her defeat at the hands of Octavian, later Augustus, in the Battle of Actium in 31 BCE sealed Egypt's fate. In 30 BCE, Egypt became a province of the Roman Empire, marking the end of its ancient civilization. This transition from a land of pharaohs to a province of Rome symbolized the end of one of history's greatest empires. The legacy of ancient Egypt continues to inspire awe and wonder. Its advancements in architecture, medicine, and governance laid the groundwork for future civilizations. The art and mythology of Egypt have influenced countless cultures, from the Greeks to modern filmmakers and scholars. The discovery of Egypt's treasures, such as the tomb of Tutankhamun and the Rosetta Stone, has reignited global interest in this ancient civilization. Today, Egyptology is a vibrant field, with new discoveries shedding light on the lives of the people who lived along the Nile thousands of years ago. Ancient Egypt was a civilization like no other, blending innovation, spirituality, and artistry into a legacy that endures to this day. Its story reminds us of humanity's capacity for greatness and creativity. Thank you for joining me on this journey through ancient Egypt. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more explorations of history and culture. Until next time, stay curious.